Good evening. I'm Terry Topcat from London, 8 p.m. on Wednesday, the 14th of June, and I'm joined by the incredible Christian Gisborne, Velvet Starlings. It's good afternoon there. It's about midday there, isn't it?
It just turned 12. And as you can see, I'm still in my bed.
Lucky you. So how you been, my friend? It's been ages since we chatted.
I have been pretty good. How about you? Um,
Yeah, now that lockdown's over and things are getting back to normality, been going to loads of gigs, and I went to Italy on the weekend. That was really cool, But it's all about live music, and I see that you've been doing a lot of shows as well in Los Angeles.
yes, we've been playing this year. Uh, well, a couple things. Um, my drummer, Deron, I've been playing in his band, Head. So got a lot of between those Starlings and Head, and going to shows. I've managed to get to a lot of shows this year. It's true. But Velvet Starlings, we just did a show at the Moroccan Lounge. We opened for Olivia Jean last week, and a couple weeks before we opened for a band called the Bobby Lees, who were really cool in LA. And we got our main show coming up in July, which is gonna be a lot of fun.
So let's talk about your new singles. You got a new single came out. Was it 4th of June?
The 7th of June.
7th of June, excuse me. It's called Bullfight. Now, when I first saw you about 3, 4 years ago, that was in your set, and I loved that song instantly. And yeah, so tell us about the ideas about the lyrics, and tell everyone about the cool video as well, which is on YouTube right now. Velvet Starlings Bullfight.
The bullfight is kind of I'll talk about what the song's about, but first I'll just say that I think in our set we were doing a lot of songs and none of them sounded like bullfight. So live, that was kind of like the concept of it was if we're gonna do a song that doesn't really have a chorus. It's just like super fast and then it gets super slow and it gets super fast and it goes all sorts of weird places. And just whenever we play a set and we do our songs, people be like, "Oh yeah, this is a regular band." And whenever we play that song, because part of it was we'd play so many shows with like punk bands and stuff, and we'd have like our keyboard on stage and be, we just did not go that hard. So we're like, we need a song that goes hard. And Bullfight was that for us. But the actual song, it's about like spectator sports and people who are addicted to adrenaline, like me, whether it's playing high stress video games or people drinking coffee all the time, watching sports, stuff where you just gets you going. And sometimes it's, living vicariously through people who are going through crazy stuff, even watching like high stress TV shows. We're all guilty of it. Um, but yeah, Bullfight is probably my favorite song off the new album. So I'm glad we put it out first. Although that means it's all downhill from here.
No, I think I mean I'll let you say it if you can. I mean, your wonderful dad, Roger. Big shout out to him as well. To Sound UK3 and Lemon Music. Is it Lemon Music? Lemon
Yeah,
and Sun Music. Um, so he sent me the album a long time ago, and I think there's quite a few songs on there that hits, and as strong as Bullfight. Cannonball I really love as well. I think that was one that really instantly grabbed me when I first saw you all those years ago.
we did play that song too.
Yes, you
At what's that venue called? Um,
Camden
I
Assembly or the Dublin Castle.
no, it wasn't Camden Assembly or Dublin Castle. It was um, it was another place.
Oh, I know
Uh,
the Camden. I never remember that name. That's when I first saw you support Will
yeah,
Cruz.
I remember the place. You came to see us at Dublin Castle,
Monarch,
like
Camden Monarch.
Monarch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, I remember that show. I remember a lot about that show. That was surprisingly one of our best shows on that first tour.
So
So
you've had two since I've known you. So you had a couple of musicians with you that you were playing a three piece when I first saw you. Then you played
mhm.
with the brothers. and tell us about the new lineup of the band. So this is new lineup of the band.
Yeah, so Velvet Starlings right now is we got Deron Monroe on the drums, who is very, very, very good at drums, and other instruments. So sometimes I'm like, dude, he should play guitar or play like, you know, be in charge of the melodic side of things because he's really so good. But then there's, drums, which, you know, he's just crazy. I remember the first time we played our first show at this place called The Smell. And I always go back to the video because I was like just so surprised. Like it's just like back to our first practice. It it adds such a crazy like it feels like Keith Moon, where it sounds like stuff's happening the whole time. It's exactly what I want in drums. And then we got Amaya Montgomery on the flute and the vocals, and she sings on all the songs now, which just makes it not just easier on me, but all the melodies they come out because she'll be doing like an octave up, and we have that on all the recordings, so it's like fully gets out the sound that I'm looking for when we're trying to recreate the recording. And then we got Aaron Huang on the keys, and he is a badass. And we got Henry Dearborn on the bass, which Henry, I think his last show with us is going to be in August, but I'm not sure. We might have to just force him to stay in the band, you know. We're I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually sort of true. Like he left like 6 months ago, and all the shows we've played since he left, he's played.
Great.
I think we're gonna just force him to be in the band. He'll know what that means. So
So can you tell us all exclusively what's the title of the album?
the album is called Pacific Standard Time, and the first song on the album is called actually technically the first song on the album is called PST, which stands for Pacific Standard Time. But the second song on the album is a song called Pacific Standard Time. And you've heard the new version of the album, so you know how it works and the songs flow into each other. People are all confused. They're listening to the end of Bullfight on Spotify. They're like, "What the hell is this freaking riff?" And it's H2Os, and it's to get across the point that they really are connected. And when you watch the videos, it'll really, really make sense. But you're supposed to know like that's next on the track list, even if you haven't heard it. You know it, and
That's
it all
H2.
sense.
I love that one. That's a great. I heard you play that again, all those years ago. Standout tracks. Um, okay, so is it possible you can play us a track that no one's heard?
Ooh, I don't have another phone with me right now, but yes, if you have any of the songs from the email, you can play any song you freaking want.
Let me just have a look. So, what's the plan about releasing the album? So you're going to release another single while I
We're
look.
gonna two more singles. We're putting out HQLs next, and after HQLs, we're putting out a song called Turning Point. So actually, I'd say you can play any song except HQLs and Turning Point.
Okay. What we're gonna say? I want to put it. Let's see if I can play Cannonball. Let's see if. Okay, let me see if I can get it up. Here we go. So and when do you any idea when the album's going to come out? So when's the next single going to come out?
It is coming out. Turning Point's coming out July 26th, which is far away, but HUL's is coming out sandwiched in between Bullfight and Turning Point. So that math would put it out on like July, June something, June 28th. It's coming out soon. I gotta go have a talk with some people about that.
That
Thank you for reminding me. Oh my gosh. We are like 14 days away, if that.
so this song is called Cannonball. Let's see if it plays. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, that's not that one. Here we go.
Wanna build a cannonball. A cannonball. Wanna build a cannonball. Cannonball.
Oh, that was Cannonball by the incredible Velvet Starlings. And that's from the forthcoming album Pacific Standard Time. How does it make you feel when you listen to your own music? Can you do you listen for mistakes, or you think you could have done that better, or you just think, hey, that's a great tune?
Well, when I hear stuff, I don't really listen for mistake. Not that there's not mistakes. There's definitely creative missteps that happen where you think that you're doing the right thing in the studio, and then 2 years pass, and you're like, I don't know why I did that. I'm so out of touch. But um mistakes normally when we're recording, like every mistake that happens gets looked at under a microscope and then switched and fixed till it's correct. That's why a lot of people, this is a tangent, but they don't have respect for like the masters of a song. And that's part of why people, I guess, get offended when people are like, yeah, I don't like the way that sounds. Because the final version of a recorded song is literally every single thing a person could want it to sound like on every level. Um, anyway, the separate thing. Um, yeah, when I hear it, I'm like, yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It's
uh,
quite controversial what the lyrics about.
ooh,
How people
that's
how can people interpret it, or how
eh,
you?
well, wrote that song in 2019, right before the election was about to come up. And that was kind of a sad time for me because I remember in, I want to say in March, I was going to Bernie rallies and like he came to Chico he came in LA and he did one with Public Enemy, and there was like 30,000 people there. And Jack White was freaking doing Bernie rallies and the Strokes, and it was like a really, really cool time. And I was really, really interested in politics. And then all of a sudden, freaking Bernie just started losing everything. And yeah. And then it's everything from March on, COVID happened and it was not handled well. And yeah. Cannonball though, Cannonball, that was definitely actually I want to say that's when we were playing it was in 2019, but it was written before then. And the wall lyric is definitely a reference to a certain someone who wanted to build walls, and he made that statement in a very not cool way. So yeah.
Absolutely. That again, love that song from the first time I heard the riff. You know, that was so memorable to me. So tell us about you. So you've been to the UK three times, two, three times.
3 times, yes.
So next year you got plans to come with this feeling.
Next we are definitely doing a fourth time. Um, I don't know when exactly. It's gonna be next year, and it's gonna be for probably a good month or so. But I do not know if it's gonna be later, like August time, or if it's gonna be like June time. We went in June last year, and it was a really fun time. But this year we're taking a break. We're taking a break, but we'll have our next album coming out, which is gonna be exciting.
Have you started recording that already?
I actually started recording that like last year, and we're gonna start mixing it soon, and that'll be done. And we're gonna start recording the next album.
Because you did two over COVID, didn't you? You recorded two.
Yes, we recorded this album, Pacific Standard Time, that's coming out, and then we recorded Technicolor Shakedown after. Actually, we recorded Pacific Standard Time first, but I did do a lot of re-recording last fall and winter for Pacific Standard Time. I redid so many things. So it's just all over the place.
So let's talk about influences. So, you know, you mentioned Jack White. I know Jack White's a big favorite of yours, and obviously the Beatles and um, any other older artists. And tell us about some new emerging artists from the States or LA that you really dig.
I will say, in all honesty, obviously the Beatles, they're my number one favorite band of all time. And 60s bands, there's a point in my life where that's the only thing I listen to. So The Who, The Doors, I always say the Doors are definitely, I think Doors are top three bands for me. A lot of people don't say that, but it's like, or they'll say that they should be in the top like 30 or like top 50. It's like, no, dude, they're in my top three. Because of Ray Manzarek and their keys and their darkness. There wasn't anyone like really that dark back then. But
So it's the Who, the Beatles, and the Doors, and the
yes, those are the trinity for me of the 60s.
right.
But what I was gonna lately over the last couple of years, I've pretty much only been listening to bands from like the 2000s and up, and like 2010s even you could say. Um, which is kind of like I don't know. I think that the music of let's say the music of the 90s is influenced by music of the 80s, or the music of the 60s was influenced by music of the 50s.
Yeah.
But the music of 2023 hasn't really freaking influenced anything. So that's how you're gonna get the most, not the most original song, but you know, no one knows what music sounds like that was influenced by music that came out yesterday. So it doesn't mean listening to current music like, oh, Velvet Starline's going to start making mumble rap. It's just like, there's a lot of music out today that I feel like the older generations, like the generations just right behind mine, who all grew up with CDs in the 90s, and everyone always gravitates toward whatever they were listening to, like in high school, and they grow accustomed to that sound. And they feel like, I don't know, people they don't have as much respect for music that comes out like right now. Like even, you know, the way my parents would talk about even the White Stripes and the Strokes and stuff like that, because they lived through it and they remember a time when they weren't famous. It's like, oh yeah, they don't consider that to be on the same caliber as like Nirvana, because it didn't have, let's say, the same cultural impact on the whole world. But I think that's one thing that the younger generation has, that some people would look at as, oh, they just don't know that much about music. But I'd argue it's kind of cool to be able to look at all of the music and just look at it objectively. Like, it all came at like people can compare Taylor Swift's music to like, Led Zeppelin and compare that to Buddy Holly and just look at it from one perspective of this is music as opposed to like people who have it instilled in their heads that these are hit songs and these are stuff that's coming out today is just brand new music. I don't know. Like I've been getting really, really into music that's brand new.
Great.
So influences though. Influences. Um
Briefly about Jack White. So when did you
yeah,
when did you
Jack
first
White's,
boy?
on to the point, his last two albums that he put out last year, that's some of my favorite music he's ever put out. Like, and it's not just because I like Jack White. It's, you know, it really is that good. Like, you should try out his what's the album? Not Entering Heaven Alive, the other one. It's so good that I forgot the name. But no, his new record was really, really good. Like even compared to some of his, I'd say it's in his maybe top, like he has like 16 or 17 albums out or something.
Wow.
I could say it's in his top five, maybe, which is a big deal because his other albums are so high up on the list. But like, and not just him, but so many people are still making some of their best music, like older artists and then newer artists.
So talking about best music, so the new album that you've written and you're going to record, do you think that's some of your best music?
Um,
Or how's
that's
this?
typical. It's objective, or subjective. A lot of people are not gonna, you know, like it as much, and some people will probably definitely like it more. Um, I don't even know what to call it because it's the same freaking band. Everything sounds. Well, I'd say it's gonna sound different. It's not gonna be different. Like the songwriting on paper is the same classic freaking Velvet Starling sound, but the actual means by which we get those sounds across, the production does sound different. It's going to be slightly harder, but at the same time, not really, because there's a lot of distortion on Technicolor Shakedown. There's a lot of distortion on Pacific Standard Time, but I think the difference is that we're going to have no reverb on anything.
So I want to play one last song. Your choice, either H.G. Wells or Pacific Standard Time.
Definitely Pacific Standard Time.
Okay.
We have played that song in.
So have you recorded the video yet for H.G. Wells?
Yes, that's going to be a fun video. That's
Okay,
going to be. It's out in a couple weeks. Oh my god.
cool. So this is Pacific Standard Time, the title track from the new album. Video's really cool, by the way, and I'm sure that'll go online when it's ready. So this is Pacific Standard Time by the wonderful Velvet Starlings.
Um,
I love that song. Great song. Great video too. So couple of quick questions, and then I'll ask you to say, well, your social media where people can find you. So you kind of work very closely with your dad writing the songs. You want to get more into the production? Would you like to produce other bands in the future? Can you see yourself?
Well, I will say first off, the next album, I do want to keep working with my dad for sure. I'm definitely going to. But the next album, I've written everything. So that is one thing. Um, Working with other bands, yeah, I'd love to produce other bands. I've produced a couple of my friends. Not anything that's been released, sadly. Uh, but I definitely want to get in to start doing some stuff like that.
Cool. So thank you so much for your time, Christian. Tell everybody where they can find the wonderful Velvet Stylings on social media.
Velvet Starlings are on at Velvet Starlings everywhere. So if you search Velvet Starlings on any app, you should find us. Unless it's like a weird one. But I think we're even on the weird ones. So
And it's all one word, Velvet Stylings.
one word.
So thank you so much for your time. Everyone can watch the wonderful video, which came out on the 7th, not the 4th of June, of Bullfight. And then you're going to be releasing H.G. Wells and then Pacific Standard Time. And then you're going to release the, I must say, it helped me through a really tough time listening to your music, and especially over lockdown. And Roger sent it to me, and I love the songs, and I think it's a great album. And I wish you all the best. And any plans for any festivals this summer in the US?
First off, I have to say thank you so much, Terry. That means a lot. And festivals, um, sadly, festival season. I don't know what happened this year, but like all the best festivals, the lineups got announced last year, and it was super sick. And this year, all those same festivals, like This Ain't No Picnic and freaking Primavera, all these ones, they're just not happening. I don't know what the hell is going on. So it's not just us who aren't playing festivals. It's all the bands in LA. It seems like. But next year is the year. That's what
Thank you
we always.
so much. Please send my regards to Anita and Roger. I want to say a big shout out also to Joe, who I met, who used
Yeah,
to
oh my God, I love Joe.
to the wonderful Ruby J, because I really think she's amazing, like yourself, and to Carl, and to Lemon Sun Music, Sound Free Music, and obviously to yourself, Christian Gisborne, Velvet Starlings, Bullfights out now. Check out, and I call you the future rock and roll because I really believe that. And you know how much I love music. Your music means everything to me. It's so great. So thank you so much for your time, Christian. I'm gonna stop recording and then we'll put it online soonish. Take care. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the sunshine.
Sunshine. Right on. There we go.
Take care. All the best. Thanks for your time and for the great interview.
Thank you, Terry. I'll see you, dude.
Yes, bye.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So it sounds great that you're going to do that A&R, A&R job.
Yeah, hopefully not just hopefully I get it, but hopefully I can keep it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Okay, hopefully this I'm going to save it all now, and I'll let you know when it's ready to go online.
Heck yeah.
Take care. All the best. And I'll do my best to get more people to do this, like Black DJ, Gary Crowley, Paul Weller, because he's a good mate of his. So, don't worry. I'm working on it.
Thank you so much, Terry, for spreading the word. It means a lot.
Sure. Take care, my friend. All the best. Bye-bye.
Sounds
Bye.
good.